Divinity isn't just love and light and love, integrity, and whatnot. In the end, all things are divine. There is no separation between what people perceive as positive and negative. In the end, courage and fear are the same thing. There is no separation. Courage could very easily lead to fear if you're too courageous in a situation that maybe you should have processed before going into it. And fear, if you walk straight into the storm, can literally turn into courage on the other side. In the end, karma is just experienced in a polarized form. What could be perceived as good karma could ultimately lead to distortion and change the trajectory of your path forward. And negative karma or experience can work in the same way. Take it from me, somebody who has gone through a tremendous amount of trauma to get to the space I'm in right now. And it ended up being the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Our existence is paradoxical in nature. There is an immense amount of meaning with an immense amount of meaninglessness. And when you start to reconcile this paradox within and see everything as just is, that's when everything can start to shift. You know, there are literal people out here thinking they're cursed or getting cursed, but it's because they're just making bad decisions. Really, they're probably most likely inflicting it on themselves because their spirit keeps saying, feel this, do this, be with this. And they keep attaching to their false sense of self or their false ego. Karma operates in two different fashions in third density, as it's the density of choice. Either negative polarity or positive polarity, service to self or service to other selves. An awake, negatively polarized entity, say for example the elites, they are gaining ascension or enlightenment through the negative polarity. They do so by enslaving and controlling the masses subconsciously. By getting the masses to manifest their will for them, and in doing so, to make their grade of polarity, they need to rack up as much karma as possible. Here's a quote from the entity known as QUO. To the negative mindset, karma is delicious. The building up of it is delicious. There is joy in creating more karma because this is the byproduct of control over others and manipulation of others. Consequently, there is no attempt to alleviate karma in the service to self path, but only to hone the edge of rage and anger until it is ever more penetrating and ever more effective. Karma operates universally on third density entities, but there are two different attitudes with respect to karma. By this way of being, they are literally creating the ecosystem for the positive polarity to love that version of themselves and forgive them by recognizing that they signed up to experience this type of lesson. If what the elite are doing to them is triggering, that means they are reflecting back the lesson they need to integrate. And in reality, if the negative polarity can achieve full grade, they are actually creating good karma by being the catalyst for the collective to grow and evolve. Quote from the entity known as Ra, both self and any involved other self may, at any time, through the process of understanding, acceptance, and forgiveness, ameliorate these patterns. This is true at any point in an incarnate pattern. Thus, one who has set in motion an action may forgive itself and never again make that error. This also breaks or stops what you call karma. It's all about figuring out what your spirit needs from you. If you are positive polarity and you seek to expose, fight against, and reject what you have signed up to experience as a soul in a human body, you're coming from a space of distortion. If you can't love your enemies and embrace the fact that you chose to experience what you are experiencing, it will keep you in a never-ending loop until you can forgive yourself for choosing the lesson. I don't want this breakdown to get mixed up with the right-hand path and left-hand path of mainstream occult understanding, because most people don't have a real understanding of how polarity actually works. The LHP community typically isn't polarized, and the same goes for RHP. They often over-identify with the false ego and surface-level occultism and are not on the path of ascension. Your spirit wants you to make a choice if you are going to choose service to self or service to other selves. And your ego or identity that is conscious needs you to choose and fulfill this experience. And that choice is serving the self for ascent, or serving the all. And at the highest lens of understanding, there is no separation. To serve the self is to serve the all, and vice versa. Ultimately, service to other selves is an integrated path, and you can still work through the Kliphoth and darker systems and be balanced. I am an example of this. I choose to help others when I can and see them as myself. As I serve myself, I serve the all. And as I serve the all, I serve myself. If you are on the negative polarity and you can't make the grade of 95% service to self, you will have to face that karma until your soul polarizes to the positive in an incarnation, or makes the grade of 95%. Now, the negative polarity at the highest octave of understanding is technically service to the all, or the source and all things in it, because it's creating the catalyst for everything within its influence to evolve. To realize you are all things, and to serve the all is to serve yourself, which is the exact same philosophy as the positive polarity. This is paradoxical in nature, because eventually all polarities cease to exist. Ultimately, they are tools for you, an individualized portion of the all, to experience itself through your experience of its or your creation. I hope you gained some value from this video and manifest you are becoming all emanations and manifest. Hepe, Ihepe, Heperu.